Y'all listen. I'm gonna tell you straight up. You cannot mention the top 10 actors, top hottest actors in Detroit without mentioning June Shelton.
Wow.
I mean, I'm just keeping it a whole buck. You can't even mention Detroit without mentioning June Shelton. Man, this brother has done films such as Red Flags. He's done films such as Writer's Block, Ya Wit. He got a new movie coming out. It's premiering on the 15th, and that's called
25th.
15th. Oh shit, it's the 25th.
25th.
It's the 25th, and it's called Cutthroat, right?
Yes, sir.
And that's gonna
yes,
be
sir.
at the Bel Air.
Yes.
Bel Air, is it Luxury Cinema?
Yep,
I think it's
Bel
off
Air,
of
yep.
8 Mile or something like that.
Yep.
The East Side. That's where I come from. So I know what that is. Back in the day, it went from being Bel Air to being Phoenix Theater, and then it went back to Bel Air, but the luxury version. So that's dope, man. No, well, hold on. I'm not done yet. You did. I'm not done yet. The Bad Girls.
Oh yeah,
Right.
yeah.
I mean, a bunch of movies.
That's taking it back.
I'm taking it back, man. You got a new movie that you'll be featured in too that hasn't come out yet. I know it's called Nasty.
Yeah.
Right. Some other films that we gonna get into that you haven't come out with yet, but you either have shot or you're scheduled or slated to shoot them. So
Yes.
you did 2 rap albums, bro.
Oh man.
No, listen. Hold on one second. So I know one was, and this came out like during the pandemic.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Was it 2020
Yeah.
or 2021? Which one?
2020.
20.
21. No, it's 21 when it came out. It came out March 21.
I'm getting all the dates wrong.
Yeah. It came out. Yeah. It came out. I started recording it in 2020. But yeah, it came out March 2021.
Okay. First one was called Reflection.
Yeah.
Right? My favorite track on there is Motive. We'll talk about that
Oh
later.
man. Okay.
No, straight up. And I'll tell you what I liked about that album. The second album that you came out with within the same year. Hold on one second. Hold on. Same year. So I remember this is before June time, man, because he young. I don't know if he was even born this year, but 1998.
I was what? Yes. I was 7 years old. What you mean? Yes.
19. I know you weren't listening. You probably was listening to this, but DMX, right? And this is like, because once Tupac got killed or whatever, there was this void, and DMX came in, and he just made people feel in the same
Riders.
sort of way, that Tupac did. Not saying that they're the same artist, but you get my point. They both make you feel.
Absolutely.
Like, just give you that visceral rawness or whatever. So DMX came out with, let me see, what was it? It's Dark and Hell is Hot. This was 1998. Then Flesh of My Flesh, Blood of My Blood. Both albums went #1 in the same year. So when you did that, I'm thinking like, oh shit, is June about to pull a DMX? Ain't no way that there's no way possible the second album can be as good as the first, because it's too quick. This brother just rushing now. And then I'm listening to it, right? This one is called Sincerely June. First one, Reflection. The second one, Sincerely June. And this brother just if they thought he was just the dude who can just like Drake, just can make good tracks, good melody, all of that stuff, right? If they thought he was just that, this album proved that he actually has bars.
Man,
Bars.
Thank you.
I'm just saying, man, like you a jack of all trades, man. And I want to just say thank you for coming on here. What's up, Joe?
How you doing, man?
I'm good, man.
Dave, how you doing, man? This is an honor. I feel like, man, I've been waiting to come up here.
I've been waiting to get you on here. It's been so busy, man. And in the summertime, I was putting them out every week. And then throughout the year, the school year, because, I got kid in first grade, another one in pre-K, it slowed down. It's like maybe once a month if I'm lucky not. You know what I'm saying? But you were somebody that I wanted to get on here because when I moved back to Detroit, I was living in LA from 2009 to about 2018. I moved back here and, I was looking to film something. I had never filmed anything in Detroit. Everything I filmed was in LA because I had started filming out there. And I come back here, I'm looking to film something. And this was fresh off of my 9 months after project.
Right. Oh, yeah. That's, man. Classic
Web series. But you did a review on it.
Yes.
And I can remember like, man, I ain't going to be able to find no actors out here. Because I'm used to being around LA talent. And it's just, a different caliber of because everybody, all like the best of the best go out there. Not to say that there aren't people here who are just as good as people out there, but it's just a higher density of it. You get what I'm trying to say? Because that's what people are going out there for. So I'm like, man, how long is it gonna take me to find this person?
Yeah.
Right. And then as soon as I saw you get that review, I showed it to my boy Marcus, who was in 9 months after. He was
Shout
like,
out to Marcus
Dupree. He was like, that's him, bro.
Man, I appreciate that. I really do. And you know, it's so crazy. I found it so randomly.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't like I knew you or anything like that prior. I just found it so randomly, and I was like, oh, let me see what this about. And I just got sucked in, and I just started watching it and watching. I was like, man, this is good.
Nah, he ain't just saying that either.
I'm not. I'm not just saying that. I really got sucked in, and it was like I was just watching the show.
Yeah.
And, you know, at the time, I was like, man, like, you know, I was going through a breakup at the time, too, and it was just resonating. I was like, man, I've been there before.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? So, that's a classic. I've watched that thing at least 10 times.
Man, yeah.
At least.
It's one of them ones that, because it was a part, like, based on real life experiences. So sometimes it's hard for me to watch it, man, because I'm like, damn, this is how I was acting back then. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, man, breakups that do something to you.
They bring out a different side in you for sure.
Yeah, man, for sure. We all been there for sure.
Yeah. So you and Fatima, Fatima, man, shout out to her too, because Fatima, her voice, I just saw her doing like blog videos. I'm like, oh, I never acted before, but she came on the scene like she had been on a set before.
Absolutely.
Right. And y'all had incredible chemistry. Y'all played best friends, platonic best friends, and that carried over into real life even after the shoot.
Absolutely. And man, thank you for bringing us together. Yeah. For sure. Fatima's like my sister now. Like, I love her.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And just, you know, from filming to what our relationship has progressed into, like, it's been amazing.
That's what's
absolutely amazing. And you know, me and her are now, you know, we worked on another film together, Nasty. She's in that too. Actually, she's one of the stars of that.
What?
You know, I got a little feature role, but she's one of the head people in that.
Wow.
So shout out to her. That was her first acting thing with you, and now she doing, you know, other things too. And it's like, man, it's amazing. It's amazing.
So you a little bit of you're mysterious to me, and I'll say that because I know a lot about you, right, in terms of now, but I don't think, like, you're not necessarily forthcoming about your past as much. So I want to get a little bit into that. Only share what you want to share. But,
that's fine.
You were born and raised in Detroit?
Absolutely. Yep. Absolutely.
Okay. So what was the first house you remember growing up in?
I grew up on Lawrence Street. That was the first house we lived in.
Who was we?
Me, my brother, my sister, my two aunts, my great aunts, and I was adopted, so my so like
what?
So,
wow.
Yeah, so like my great aunt, one of my great aunts adopted me and my brother and my sister, so that was like the first house we lived in, and that was 4, 5, 6 people living in the house at the time. Wow. So yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot.
So adopted at birth, or?
I was adopted when I was, I want to say like 2 years old. 2 years, well, yeah, almost 2 years old.
So that's all you remember pretty much is your aunts.
Yeah, that was, I don't ever remember living with my mom or like my birth mother anytime before that. So I didn't even know what she looked like. So.
Okay, got you. Okay, so how many siblings did you say again?
At the time, it was just 3 of us. So it was me, my older brother, and my younger sister.
Okay. Are you close with them to this day?
So, so I haven't. It's weird. Like, I haven't spoken to my brother in like 2-3 years. My sister, we pretty close. You know, she has my nieces and my nephew, so I'm seeing them all the time. So yeah, I'm over her house probably. I'd say at least once every 2 weeks. I'm over there.
Okay, so again, I'm gonna ask some more questions. If you don't want to answer, just be like, "Hey,
bro,
Dad,
I'm an open book today.
Move on to the next one."
I'm an open book today,
but I'm
man.
curious. I'm curious because this is my first time hearing of this. So, growing up, right? It's not like you thought your aunts were your actual parents. You always knew they were your aunts.
Yeah.
Right? How was it dealing with that growing up, or accepting that, or you get what I'm trying to say? Was there ever any desire to wanna live with your parent, or did you feel some sense of rejection or anything like that? What were you feeling as a kid, knowing that your aunts weren't actually your parents and your parents weren't actually raising you?
Yeah, it was weird. Like, they never lied to us. So I can appreciate that. Like, they never lied to us. They never was like, oh, my mom, so the one that adopted us, she wouldn't, at a young age, when we were that young, we weren't able to understand, drug use and all this other stuff. We were, 3, 4, 5 years old. We didn't understand. So she just kept saying, oh, she was sick.
Wow.
So,
okay, gotcha.
And that was her way of like telling us the truth, but not really like what we could handle at the time. And which, addiction is a sickness essentially.
So she wasn't lying.
Yeah, so she wasn't lying. She just didn't divulge too much before we were able to understand. Eventually, family, stuff just start coming out. You start going to family reunions. You start going, over family members' house, and people talk. And so I was always that kid that's like, I'm listening to everything. My mom used to call me so nosy. Like I was always like listening to everything. And I just overheard, some of the, grown-ups talking. I'm just like, wait, what? I'm like, what? And so, it came out later. It was just a weird dynamic. But I did always wonder, like, okay, where is she at? What is she doing? Is she thinking about us? And I never heard anything about my dad. So it really wasn't nothing for me to think about at the time. So it was mostly like, okay, like I'm living with my mom's actual family. Like this is my actual family that I'm living with. She's just not around. And I was just wondering, like, okay, it was to a point where I was convincing myself, like, oh yeah, well, this is probably just temporary. She probably coming back eventually to come get us, and we gonna be all good. But that's the young version of you, and you don't know.
Yeah, you don't. Yeah.
So yeah.
So as far as your mother, did you ever visit her as a child?
No, I never met my mom or saw a picture of her. I didn't meet her until I was like 13, 14 years old.
Oh shit, okay, we're gonna get there. So let me ask you this. Yeah. When did you realize that, oh shoot, well, who was my father? When did you start asking that question? Because naturally, I know for me, my father was pretty much in prison from the time I was 2. He got out when I was 7, went back 10 months later, and didn't get out until I was 25, I believe. So you're talking about roughly 22, 23 years straight. And there were a few people on the block I stayed on who had fathers around. And that's when I was like, wait, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like that's kind of cool that, to see them, playing basketball with each other or going fishing with each other or whatever the case may be. And I knew that dynamic was different than the dynamic that I had with my mother. Right. So when did you notice that? Like, man, where's my dad?
So, my family really didn't know anything about my dad because my mom was just kind of like, she was away from the family doing her own thing. But it was weird. Like, none of my friends had their dads growing up either. So it just wasn't really like I'm an outcast type of thing. Like, I only had one boy. That's my boy Anthony. His dad was in his life, but his dad lived in Atlanta at the time, and he was here. So it's like, his dad he knows his dad is in his life, but he was here. Like, you know what I mean? Got you. So it was like everybody just had their mom. So it wasn't, so like even us going out and talking, like, yeah, my mom said I got to come home. My mom. Nobody ever said their dad. So it was like, and it's sad to say, looking back on it, but it just wasn't anything that was like unordinary. So.
Yeah, so for me, and I'm not sure if I acted out just because I was being a little rambunctious bad kid, right? But I know my mother was saying that, I was angry when, my father got out of prison and went back 10 months later because he was present. He was around when he was out. And even in prison, he still, was, he had a presence in my life, from afar, obviously, but, he tried his best.
Right.
But, I was getting in trouble at school. I'm fighting people. I'm talking back to teachers. And she thought it was somewhat linked to that. Do you think that the absence of your mother, did it cause you to act out in any type of way or no?
I wasn't a bad kid like that. Like I wasn't wilding out. I wasn't. I was, man. Like I was a scared, quiet little kid. Like I'm like super shy. Like I'm not really like, unless I really knew you for real.
You were shy as a kid?
I was very, very shy.
No,
like
that's crazy.
I'm telling you, like when I was that young, I was very shy. I wasn't even like cracking jokes like that. Like I was like, when I tell you super quiet, like I was, and my family will tell you this. I I started talking like super late, like later than the average kid. Like I just wasn't talking.
Like what age?
Like I said, I really wasn't talking for real until I was like 2, 3-ish. Like because like I don't know, they thought something was wrong with me. I just wasn't talking. And she was like, then when she started, you just wouldn't shut up. And it was like, you know what I'm saying? But I was talking with my family and my friends, but like in public settings and like school and stuff like that, I was like kind of chill. I was like I always got good grades. Like I was just chill. I wasn't talking back. I wasn't wilding. I didn't start fighting and stuff like that until like, you know, like later on once I started going to like the neighborhood schools and I started hanging out with like my little neighborhood friends.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was chill. Like I didn't I wasn't wilding out.
Okay. So when you turned 13, you actually met your mother for the first time face to face. Walk me through that.
Yeah, even before that, I had grown up like a resentment towards her by that time.
Okay.
There was like I was always, it was so weird. Like I was always like when I was younger, I would write like when it was my birthday parties, I would always like, man, let me set a invitation for her to the side, you know, just in case she come. You know, you optimistic.
Yeah.
And my mom was like, you know, or my auntie would be like, yeah, well, you know, we'll make sure she gets it or whatever. But how is they gonna get it to her? So I know that now, obviously, but when you're that young, you don't know. We ended up moving to another house. And I remember thinking to myself, like, man, if she, you know, if she wants to come find us, like, she don't know where we at now because we just moved. But my other aunts were still staying at the house. And I remember one day, you know, my auntie, you know, she called me and she was like, hey, like, you know, your mom was actually over here. She came over here earlier today. And I was like, you know, what? She did what? You know, like, did she ask about us? Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, dang, we moved too. She probably came to come find. She was like, nah, she didn't ask about y'all at all. Like,
oh, they were honest. Yeah.
My auntie was very, very honest. And by this time I was in like, I want to say like 5th, 6th grade, something like that. And me and my auntie were very, very close at that time. We were very close.
Yeah.
And she was like, nah, she came over here to pick up some money. She wanted to know if she could have some money, and I gave it to her. And I was like, she didn't ask about us at all? She's like, nah. And so in my mind, it was like you coming over here for this money was more important than me. So in my mind, it was like, F you at this point. At that point, that was when the anger started to settle in. It was like I just went years like, all right, you know, don't say nothing to me about her. I don't care. Like, it was like I don't care. And then when I finally met her, it was my uncle's wedding. And my uncle was like probably like the closest thing I had to like a father figure at the time. And you know, I remember he came over to the house and he's like, hey, you know, I want you to be at my wedding. And I was like, okay, great. And he was like, I wanted to let you know that your mom is, I hear that your mom is going to be there. And I'm like, what? Like, first of all, how are y'all talking to her? Like, I ain't talked to her, so how are y'all talking to her? And I was like, nah, well, I'm not, you know, I'm 13, 14. So I'm like, well, I'm not coming. If she going to be there, I'm not coming.
Yeah,
like, I'm good.
Because you're still feeling resentful. Yeah.
Very resentful. I'm like, I ain't coming. I don't want to go there. He like, nah, like, bro, you're coming to my wedding.
Yeah.
Like, you're coming to my wedding. He's like, I want you to be there. Like, I ain't saying you gotta, like, you know what I'm saying, kick it with her or nothing like that, but you coming to my wedding. I was like, all right. So
I mean, leading up to that day, you had to be nervous, right?
I was, you know, you talking to yourself in the mirror. She better not talk to me. Huh?
Yeah.
She can talk to everybody else. She ain't talking to me.
Yeah.
And you know, that was my energy going to it. And my brother and my sister, they, you know, and by this time I have two younger siblings too at this time, because she ended up having 2 other kids later on.
So now it's 5 of y'all total.
Now it's 5 of us.
Wow. Okay.
And they ended up getting adopted by my other aunt, not my great aunt, but my mom's actual sister.
Wow. So you were adopted by your great aunt, and they were adopted by the first aunt, your mother's actual sister. I got you. Wow, man. So you got, like, just shout out to your family. Man.
Yeah. They kept us together,
village.
for sure.
Yeah.
And then I just remember, like, I was, you know, in the wedding, me and my brother, you know what I'm saying? It's crazy. We helping each other. Me and my brother, like, we in the bathroom helping each other tie each other ties and stuff. Like, we know what we doing. Like, we in the bathroom helping each other tie each other ties, and we come out, and my, you know what I'm saying? Picture these two. But at the time, you know, I'm in 8th grade. My brother's in 9th grade. You know what I'm saying? Because he's, you know, he's a little bit older. He might, is he 2 years older than me? He might have been in 10th grade. I don't know. But he's older than me. So, you know, he helping me tie my tie. We come out, and, you know, my aunt that adopted my youngest two, she's there, and she's there with this lady, and I'm like, I've never seen a picture of my mom in my life, but I'm like, I just know, like I just know, I felt it. I was like, yeah, that's her, and I tried not to make eye contact, and then my aunt called me over, and I'm like, she's like, June, come here, and I can't say no because my auntie, like, can't say no, and then she's like, you know who this is? I'm like, yep. And then I'm like, yep. And she's like, well, you know, I just wanted to talk to you for a second. I was just like, I'm good.
Oh, shoot.
And like, I was like, I gotta get ready for this wedding. And then my brother and my sister, they sat there and talked to her for a minute. And then,
wow. And
I remember after the wedding, you know, it's time for the reception.
Yeah.
I'm like, you know, you got the tables with the names.
Yeah.
I'm like, why would they sit us all at the same table?
Oh,
and
wow.
Now I'm like,
do you think that was coordinated, or no? It was just coincidence.
Had to be coordinated. First of all, my auntie, and I love that lady so much. The one that my uncle married. There's no way that's she's so particular, and she's so like there's no way anything.
She don't make mistakes. Like
she don't make
mistakes.
Yeah. There's nothing coincidental, especially her wedding day. There's nothing coincidental.
Wow.
So you know, they put people together who knew each other, whatever, and they put her at the table with me, my aunt, my siblings, and everything. And I remember she just sitting there like, you know, she talking about, you know, she was in rehab at the time. And, you know, she's talking about, you know, how things are going to be different and all of this. And, like, my brother and sister are, like, soaking it up. Like, wow. Soaking it up.
I mean, yeah, but I can understand, though. They probably were just... Now, how old were they? Because you were 13. How old were they at the time?
My sister is a year younger than me. So she's like 12.
Kind of older, too, right? Okay. But it's kind of interesting how all of you sort of had a different reaction.
Dynamic.
Yeah, a different dynamic, too.
And the youngest two, you know, they so young, they just don't even...
They don't know, yeah.
They don't know anything.
It was almost like that same... Because you said you were a bit naive as a child, thinking that she was going to come this weekend. So they're in that phase. Yeah, I got you.
And, you know, I wasn't... You know, I'm a kid, too, but I'm not about to, you know, ruin this for them. Like, you know, my sister is, like, the youngest. I'm 32. I'm 31 right now, and she's 24. So yeah, she's like 7 years younger than me.
Yeah.
So,
but that says a lot about you, because I mean, some people could be like, I can't believe y'all talking to her. Look what she done did, blah, blah, blah. But, you know, that was your feelings towards her, and you kind of allowed the other ones to sort of handle it however they saw fit.
No, I said that to my sister.
You did?
And my brother. I said that to them. Not the youngest two. Not the youngest two, but I was like, yeah, y'all wilding. I was like, y'all just soaking up everything she's saying. Like, are y'all that gullible?
So what was their response to you?
My sister was so like optimistic at the time. Like, you could have told her anything and she would have believed it. Like, she was just like, no, she's trying. Like, why are you saying, like, you know, my sister was too emotional back then. Why are you saying that? You know, she's trying. I'm like, all right, you gonna see. All right, I'm trying to tell you, gonna see.
Yeah.
But really, I was projecting my emotions onto them. And you know, I didn't know that at the time, but you know, that was toxic in itself. But I ain't gonna lie, I was very rude to her. I'm not gonna lie.
She didn't. So once you walked away, she didn't try to force anything. It just
no. So after the reception, I walked away, and she caught me in the hallway, and she was just like, you know, you are really disrespectful, and you know, and I was being very rude. Like if she was, I would just say this: any adult that was already in my life, I would have never talked to like that. Never.
Because you wasn't that type of kid. Yeah,
I wasn't a disrespectful kid. I just had so much pent up emotion regarding her. So I definitely wasn't a disrespectful kid. It was just like you sitting here like nothing happened. Like, no apology, no, this is where I've been. Like, I'm sorry for the last 13 years. Like, never apologize. Just, she literally was sitting there like nothing had happened, and we just carrying on with life. And that just threw me for a loop. So I remember she called me in the hallway, and she was like, yeah, you just disrespectful and blase, blase. And I was like, listen, she was like, I'm still your mother. And I was like, don't call me a son. Like, don't do that. Like, I don't trust nothing. And before she left, she had to, go back to the rehab center. So before she left, she was like, "Yeah, I just want to let y'all know I'm gonna be calling y'all. I'm gonna call y'all first thing tomorrow, and I'm gonna talk to y'all every day. Like I just want us to build a relationship." And I'm like, "Yeah, all right. I don't want to, get my hopes up." I'm telling them like, she ain't gonna do that.
Yeah.
Sure enough, the next day she did call.
Damn.
And she kept her word on that. I never forget that.
Wow.
My uncle got married on a Saturday. The next day she did call. She called early in the morning. I remember Saturday before we went to church. She called, and she talked to all of us individually for like a couple minutes or whatever. And I was honestly surprised. I was like, dang, maybe
this is different.
Maybe she is switching the roles. Maybe she is trying.
Yeah.
And then after that, nothing.
Yeah.
After that, she like fell off the face of the earth. And I remember like I was like looking forward to it. The next day, it was like a Monday. I was like, okay, maybe she gonna call after I get out of school. I'm like, all right, maybe she. Nah, nothing. And I remember calling my auntie. I was like, yeah, you heard from her? She was like, yeah, no, I ain't heard nothing. And then a week later, I talked to my auntie. She was like, yeah, she like left the rehab center early and don't nobody know where she at. And it was like the cycle continues. And it was like, yeah, all right.
So you haven't really talked to her since then, or?
No, I have. I throughout high school I saw her like periodically, but she wasn't like, she was never like in the best place. Like you can tell like she was still using and everything like that. And man, like it's I remember I was with my this is like the most like personal interview I ever did. But no, it's cool. I'd rather do it with you. And I was with my friend. One of my friends, we were walking one day, and like I was with a few of my friends. It was like 5 of us, right? It was like 5 of us walking down the street. Not too far. We were actually walking down Tireman and Livernois, if you know that area.
Yeah, I know that area.
Yeah, down Tireman and Livernois.
Right off Davison or something like that, right? Davison
Freeway.
No.
It's the other way. Yep. So it's the other way.
You can tell I'm at East Side.
Yeah, we're right. We was walking past this Coney. We're leaving this Coney Island, and I'm walking, and all I hear is June. I'm like, just call me, and I look, and it's my mom. Like she's like looking, I don't know what, like looking really really bad. She's in this alley, and like she's like walking towards me, and I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, dog, don't talk to me. I'm like, I'm with all my friends right now and I gotta explain this shit. And I'm like, I can't do it. So I like, this is crazy. I punched one of my friends.
What?
I punched one of my friends because it's something
just punched him in the face?
Like not hard, but you know what I'm saying? It was something we used to do. Like, you know what I'm saying? We young. I'm like 16 at the time. It's something we used to always do to each other.
Yeah.
And I took off running, and it was like, you slap your friend in the back of the neck, and they get a new haircut or something like that. It was like, and I just took off running. He chasing me. We all running. We laughing and everything. And then I just had to get out of that situation.
I mean, the fact that you thought that quickly on your feet, that's like some CIA type stuff.
You gotta think quick. You gotta think quick. And I just remembered, so when I got home that day, like it was so weird. Like she popped up at my house that day. Like she literally popped up at my house, and she was like, "Yeah, he was just so disrespectful. He saw me. I called his name. And he just took off running." And she told my mom this. My mom like, "What? Like, what are you talking about? Like." He's like, he's just so disrespectful. Don't run when I'm talking to you. I'm still your mom. And I'm like, yo, like, you can dead that. Like, nah. And that just fueled the animosity that we already had for each other. And it carried on for forever until I say December 2009. So I'm in college at this time. Like, we are not rocking with each other. Don't call me. Don't text me. No nothing. And nothing. I want nothing to do with this lady. 2009. I get a call from my aunt, my mom's other sister. I get a call from her. She like, listen, I'm coming to pick y'all up. You, your brother, and your sister. Your mom's in the hospital. She just had a baby. I'm like, what? She had a baby for what?
Number 6.
Number 6. I'm like, I'm 18 years old. you know what I'm saying? Like what are you having a baby for?
Yeah.
You're not taking care of the ones you got. And I'm like, I ain't trying to go. Like, it is what it is. Like, I ain't trying to go. Like, this, she's crazy. Why would she have another baby? Like, this is dumb. And eventually I was like, all right, I'll go, whatever. And we get to the hospital. I'm still not talking to her for real. But I'm like, I'm looking at this little, she had a little girl. And I'm looking at this little girl. I'm like, yo, like, this baby is so innocent. I'm like, she don't know nothing about none of this. And I'm like, and I'm holding her, and you know, I'm talking to my sister and my auntie and everything, and I'm just like, yo, like, all right, we older now, so like, if it come down to it, like, we gotta take care of her.
Damn.
Like, for real, like, we gotta like be there for her. And I'm like, I don't want her to have to go through some of the stuff that we went through. And I was like, okay. And at this time, I'm in college too. Like, I'm going back to school in a week and a half. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm going back to school. So I'm like, all right, cool. So my mom, you know, she ends up back in rehab after that, because, you know, you just had a baby. They're not about to just let you leave the hospital and you're on drugs and whatever. So my aunt ends up taking the baby. She's taking the baby, and she's caring for it for my sister at her house. And so on, you know, breaks, some spring break, I'm coming back home. I'm over her house, you know, looking at my sister, you know, playing with her a little bit. She's still a baby. And then, so like, I remember right before I got out of school for, you know, it was end of school year when you do finals and everything. I get a call, and they like, yeah, so your sister died, right? The baby. Wow. So I'm like, what? I'm sick. I'm like, what? They're like, yeah. So my older brother was supposed to be like watching her at the time, and he ended up I guess he was watching TV or playing the game or whatever, and she was in the other room, and he wasn't watching her. And she just ended up like, you know, turning over, and, you know, she fell in between like the wall and the bed or whatever, and she suffocated, right? So that was just a whole rough thing for like my whole family. And she you know, that ended up, and I didn't think about at the time, I didn't think about how rough that must have been for my mom to have to undergo. And so she went to during this whole time she's still in rehab, so they have to call her and tell her what happened. And that was like her fuel for being in rehab, supposedly, because she was like, this, I want this to be the one kid that I actually, you know, am there for. And so, you know, she was like, you know, I don't want to, you know, bury another one of my kids or whatever. I don't want to, you know, do that. And I still want to keep my promise. I still want to go through rehab. So she actually went through rehab and actually got clean. So she ended up, you know, getting a place and everything. And that was when we actually started like working on some type of relationship. So that was a long-winded answer to that question, but you know. Yeah.
Oh my God. Damn.
Yeah.
Man.
It's rough.
Man, that's yeah. When you know, because I had no idea you were gonna talk about those things, because I didn't know any of this stuff about you. And,
man.
And for me, you know, me and my dad, we didn't have a relationship obviously when I was growing up, but you know, and when he got out of prison, it was hard for us to sort of get on the same page, because I think he possibly, and I don't want to speak for him, but wanted a certain closeness that I couldn't give, because, you know, he hadn't been there. And in my mind, you know, I had some unresolved issues. I might have had a bit of resentment too. And then when he got out of prison, I'm like, hey, I just graduated from college. I'm an engineer. I'm trying to get out of debt. And I just didn't, like, a couple of months before he got out of prison, he chose where he wanted to, or he could choose where he wanted to go. And he was hoping that I would, you know, let him come live with me. But I was, like I said, fresh out of college, living in Arizona by myself. My sister, and that's not her biological father, but she's like the closest thing to it, you know.
Gotcha.
They even have a closer relationship than than me and him because she was actually older and knew what was going on before he went to prison and stuff. My sister's 5 years older than me.
Oh wow.
So so anyway, with my dad, man, you know, I didn't let him come stay with me. And there was some resentment there on his part, understandably so. But we've reached a point now to where there's an understanding. And it's like we can't get those years back, you know, and you have to be there with that kid to build that type of trust and build that type of relationship, which is why I'm so conscious about what I'm doing with my own kids. Today, you know, 4 and 6. I got a boy who's 6 and a daughter who's 4, and I'm so conscious about how present I am. I'm trying to invest as much as I can so that when we get older, they'll want to be around me naturally. Absolutely. And it won't feel obligatory in any type of way. So, and I always tell my dad, yeah, we probably can't recapture those years. Obviously, that's impossible, but we can build something else, and let's try to focus on that. And we've been doing really good ever since. So a lot of what you're saying definitely resonates with me. And I always think to myself that, man, if I feel a certain level of resentment or a certain way as a result of maybe him not being around, imagine the type of shame and guilt that he feels.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Because that's the type of shit that'll keep you away even when you want to be there. You know, so the fact that my father keeps trying, like I'm hearing you right now saying that, man, damn, she called the day after the wedding, but then she kind of fell off the face of the earth, blah, blah, blah. And she was struggling. So I have a sense of, I feel sympathy for her in that sense because she was, you know, addiction ain't no joke, right? Yeah. But with my dad, you know, no matter what, he continues to try. And that has to be hard because I haven't always been the most receptive to it, but he still tries. And I have to appreciate that. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, he doesn't have to. Like I said, shame and guilt can keep you from doing the things that you need to do, right? Because you're so guilty and ashamed, right? So, damn, June, I didn't know that you had experienced any of that. Yeah, and I'm actually more have more admiration because you don't, like, it's not like you tell people these things. You're not looking for any sympathy or anybody to feel sorry for you, and you doing your fucking thing. You bro, like when I first met you, you got, you know, fly apartment, always dressed nice. I remember we was having a conversation one time about something. And you was telling me like, yeah, I was about to get, you know, it was one of the exes, and you was saying something you was about to do that totaled up to about 10 G's. I'm like, man, you in your 20s, how you got 10 G's saved up? So you obviously you got your shit together, man. And so you in college, right? And what did you actually study in college?
Man, I changed my major so many times, yo. Like when I first got to college, my major was business management, right? Because when I graduated high school, I didn't know what I wanted to do. Yeah, I had no like interest in anything at all, and I didn't know, but I did know, like I said, my uncle has always been like my like
a father figure.
Yeah, like
he was the one who wedding you was at, right?
Yeah, like I was like, man, I want to be like him. I just knew I wanted to be like him. Yeah. And his whole thing was business. That was his whole thing. And so I was like, man, well, I guess if I want to be successful like that, I guess I gotta go to school for business. Yeah,
right. Gotta follow his footsteps.
And so I quickly learned that it's harder than you think. And,
it sounds like a good idea.
Sounds like a good idea.
You gotta take them courses. Yeah.
Like, man, I was in school for a couple weeks, and I was like, yeah, my math classes, and I'm like, I gotta switch my major. So
yeah.
So then I was like, all right, well, I'm gonna switch my major to social work and psychology.
Oh, okay.
And I did that for a while, and then it was like the easiest thing ever. I'm not gonna lie. Psychology is like, don't get me wrong, psychology is dope. It's the study of the mind and everything, you know, and people really. And social work and everything was cool, but there was like no like passion there. It was like, I'm just doing it. Like it's super easy. And I was like, I'm gonna just say this: there's no guys in social work classes. I'm gonna just be real with you. There's no.
But I figured you would like that though, you know.
And at the time, I did. It was like, you know what I'm saying. You doing group projects? It's just all girls and everything, and it was really easy. And you know, girls are smart. Like, you know what I'm saying. Group assignments, they doing a lot of the work. You just like, hey, back there and do your thing. And it was cool. And then after my freshman year, I took a break from school. Because at the time I was going to this school and it was super expensive, and they was like, yeah, if you want to come back next year, you gotta drop a couple thousand. And I was like, I ain't got it. And I was like, well, I'm a broke college student. I ain't got it either. So I was like, I took a break from school, and one of my boys was going to another school. So I was like, all right, you know what I'm saying?
Did you feel a way about that? Like, oh damn, I'm a failure, or it was like, nah, this ain't really.
You know what I'm saying? I did, because it was like at the time, like, I was the first person in my family to like go off to school, right? And then it was like, and not only that, nobody on the block was in school right now. So it was like now it's like, dang, now I'm right back here. And it was like, and not only am I right back here, but I'm not doing nothing while I'm here. Like I'm just here. Like it's not like I had a job or nothing like that. I was chilling at the house. Like, you know what I'm saying? I felt so stagnant. And that was when I started discovering YouTube. And I started discovering, like I started watching like Kane Carter. So I'm at home for like 8 months. Like literally 8 months just watching Kane Carter and watching all these YouTubers, and I'm learning like, oh, that's funny. Like I'm learning stuff about
So that's
acting.
how you got into the arts.
That's how I got into it.
Wow.
I was just at home every day. Like I'm talking like my sleep schedule was so off. I'm up 4 o'clock in the morning, bright eyed and bushy tailed, just watching YouTube. Yeah. And so that was like I started doing YouTube. I ended up going to another school, so I ended up moving on campus over there. And while I'm there, I'm still watching. And then that second semester, so I started in October of 2011. October 2011 is when I started doing YouTube.
Wow.
But I was just like, making little videos here and there. And it was cool. And then I just start progressing over time. I just kept going. And then I started doing stand up.
That's the thing that I missed. The brother does stand up too.
From time to time.
Yeah.
So I started dabbling in stand up, and I just started like, everybody was like, oh, June is funny. Like, this is funny. And started dabbling in it a little bit. And then I made this video called The Burger Chronicles. That was like my first thing I was writing. And then I just, from then, I was like, damn, acting is cool. And so somebody saw it. This guy, Jermaine, he saw it. And he was like, hey, can you come be a part of this project that I'm working on? So that was the first thing I ever, and I didn't audition or anything, but that was the first thing I ever got casted for. And it never came to light. But that project, I met so many other actors like in the city.
So it led to a lot of other things.
That led to so many other projects. We was like that's how I met Cherie.
Yeah.
And like we really, not me and Cherie, that was
she hilarious too.
Man, we was getting it out the mud. Like we just started doing videos and skits, and everybody was making like short films at the time. And like nothing crazy. We ain't had no budget because everybody broke. Like, we was just, what I'm saying? We was like, hey, you want to do this video? You want to do this little short film? So we was just doing it, knocking them out. And then, and then I just started progressing after that. I just started getting deeper and deeper into it. And yeah, man, now I'm here.
I mean, no, you definitely here. And I mean, you linked up with like some people who are doing big things. I know Dolores, is that how you pronounce her name?
Yes, Dolores Flynn.
She is the director of Cutthroat, which premieres on the 25th of November.
25th.
At Bel Air. And I met her because Project 8 was accepted into a film festival, Capital City Black Film Festival, I believe. And she had a film called, The Color of Hate, I believe. And we met and we, talked. We started following each other on Instagram. So it's cool to see things come full circle where I worked with you on Project 8 and now you're starring in her film that comes out on the 25th. So how was it working with Dolores?
Man, Dolores is very, very calculated.
Yeah.
She's very, very calculated. Even when I audition, I don't get nervous for stuff typically. It's not an audition, but after I did the audition, she was like, her and the writer, Levon at the table, some other people. They're like, okay. normally, like I'm like, okay, like did I do good? Or I was like, okay. well, we'll call you if we want to move forward.
Damn.
I was like, all right.
Because usually you get some type of reaction like, oh yeah, Joe killing it.
Yeah. I'm like,
or they might let you know something after all that. Hey man, you did good. Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, well,
but
probably didn't get that one.
Great poker face on their part. Yeah.
And then they called me a little bit later, and they were like, okay, can you come back for this callback? Mm-hmm. And I was like, okay, I'm a little nervous now. I was like, all right. Mm-hmm. So I came back, did a callback. Like I think they sent me like a little bit extra of the script, not so much of what I did already, but a little bit more. Mm-hmm. So the callback was a little bit more. And they gave me they sent it to me early, so I had more time to prepare for it. So I came back, did the callback. It was like, okay, thank you. And I'm like, again? I'm like, what is it?
Throw me a bone here, y'all.
Like, they're like, okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. We'll call you if we're looking moving forward. And I was like, all right, cool. I'm shaking hands. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your time.
Yeah.
I'm in the elevator like, oh, I probably blew it.
Yeah.
I probably blew it. And, like a couple weeks later, I think they reached out to me and she was like, I want to offer you the role.
Yeah.
I wanted to, but I want to sit down with you one-on-one and go over the character. Mm-hmm. And this is like a first for me, like a first. So I'm like, all right. So, we sitting in this office in Oak Park, and, we sitting there, we talking. Mm-hmm. And she's like, listen, this character is this. We breaking down the character. But even before she did that, she was like, tell me about you. And I'm like, my name is June, I'm an actor. And she's like, no. Tell me about your life. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Wow. And
as I'm beginning to talk to her, I'm like, because she sent me the script too. Mm-hmm. She was like, read through the script before we sit down. And this character, me and this character are like so much alike, like our lives. Like even from what I just told you, like his mom was suffering from drugs. And so he never met her. He's living with his grandmother. And I'm like, this character is literally, I told her, I was like, this is written for me. Like, what you mean? This is written for me. Yeah. And he got like all this animosity towards her. And it's like, I told her, I was like, yeah, this is written for me. She was like, I feel like it too. She was like, we went through the script and everything. And she's explaining to me like his emotions throughout the script in different scenes. I'm taking notes on the script. Dope.
Yeah.
Do a bunch of table reads, and when it's time to direct, Dolores literally, like when I tell you she's calculated, before we even got to set, like she has everything written out. Like it looked like a bunch of stuff on a piece of paper to me, but it's like it's blocking and everything. She got it written out how she want the living room set up, like down to the T.
Damn.
How she want it shot,
prepared.
Everything.
Yeah.
Dolores is very prepared.
Yeah.
Very prepared.
And that kind of takes pressure off of everyone else on set, even the folks in front of the camera, right? Because when somebody is that prepared, it just, I don't know, it just takes a weight off of you.
And she's very hands-on. Like she, I remember, I don't think she slept that much during filming. Like we filmed,
passionate.
I want to say 12 days straight.
Passionate, yeah.
She's probably one of the last people to leave set and one of the first people to get there. So like she's, I want to say maybe got like 3 to 5 hours of sleep per night.
People don't understand how incredibly hard it is to make a feature film. And it's even harder to make one that's actually good, Absolutely. So you have to give Dolores credit because anything she starts, she finishes. And that's it. And that says a lot. Now, I saw this movie. I went to the premiere to see it. Who You Wit?
Who You Wit, yeah.
And it was about I'm gonna try to summarize it. It was about a guy who was caught up in the
drug game.
The drug game, right? And, he started dating another young lady and she kind of got caught in the web too. I won't give too much of it away, but you were a part of his crew, right? So you were, but a funny drug dealer. You know what I'm saying? Because, you always got that one that be cracking on everybody that could have honestly toured the world and did stand up if he wanted to. So it was a very serious movie, and you brought levity to it, and I could tell that a lot of that shit probably wasn't in the script because I know you was improvising, wasn't
none of that was in the script. You know what? And that was a book before it was a movie. So written by Brenda Hampton. So definitely shout out to Brenda
her.
Hampton.
Yep.
And I didn't audition for that role. That was Cherie. Cherie directed that. That was her directorial debut.
She killed it.
And you know, like I said, me and Cherie go back to 2012.
Yeah.
So she just hit me up and was like, "Yo, bro, I got this role that I think you would be perfect for."
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know, anything Cherie is like, bro, I'm with it.
I'm with it. Yeah.
Anything you doing, I'm with it. I'm rocking with you. And I didn't know anything about it, but I told her yes.
Yeah.
I didn't know anything about it. I didn't know who was in it. I just told her yes.
Yeah.
And ended up doing it. And you know, I'm like, Cherie, like, you know, can I have a little fun with this character? She like, June, I trust you. Do you? I know you.
I know you. Yeah.
Do
yeah.
you?
Yeah.
I'm like, say less. So I'm like, I'm you know, we having fun with it, we laughing, and it translated so well on screen. Like
it did.
And you know, we had like a bunch of, you know, rehearsals and table reads before, so it literally made us all like a family. Like even Cutthroat, really, like the Lord sent me the girl that's playing my sister, Autumn. Like, shout out to Autumn. This is her first acting role too. She did amazing. And she sent me her information, and she was like, you know, I want y'all to reach out to each other, exchange numbers, because she's gonna be playing your sister, right? And you know, we got to set and everything. Not to say we got to rehearsals and everything, and this rehearsals going on. Like if you see it on, when you see it on camera and everything, you cannot tell me that this is not my actual sister.
Yeah.
Like we got like this, like
great chemistry.
That's like. Autumn's like, that's my little sister.
You know,
right,
I mean, but it seemed like it's like you just a likable dude, man. So everybody that you do or any film that you're in, you always maintain a relationship with a number of those people, even following the conclusion of the shoot, right? So
absolutely. Like even Royce and you know, Red Flags.
Oh,
like,
come on, don't you be stunting like that, man. Yeah. Well,
Royce,
she was NBA Wives or something like that. I know she was in that back in the day.
Dwight Howard, is it?
Yeah, Dwight Howard, right? But so she was the star that you played the hood brother. Who was checking the dude that she was with or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And that was hilarious as well. Comic relief in that.
Thank you.
This is so between Red Flags, Who You With, Nasty, which hasn't come out yet. Cutthroat is going to premiere on the 25th. That's a Dennis Reed production, all of them, right? So have you shot 4 total films with Dennis Reed
this year? Yes, 4. Yep. Nasty's actually premiering on the 26th, so the next day.
He's like, I mean, the fact that and you got to give him credit, man, because he produces films in assembly line fashion. And I remember going to the premiere of Who You With, and you know, there was this introduction, this video that he did that showed him talking about things prior to the movie starting, and he was like, "Yeah, we gonna do 20-something films this year."
He didn't lie.
He ain't lying. So the fact that he can operate at that capacity, he employs so many people. A lot of the directors are black women. You get what I'm trying to say? So he putting people in position. And I mean, you just got to give him credit that he moves the way he does, man. So how is it working on the Dennis Reed project?
Man, Dennis is a powerhouse. He's definitely he's hilarious for one. But Dennis is also like get it done. Like I mean, when you put your money behind stuff, obviously you want it done.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's a super dope guy, super hilarious. He's he has a real eye for talent, and I think he has a real eye for, you know, like when people bring him scripts and stuff like that, if he's like, oh, this is gonna be good, like we can create this.
Yeah.
And I think he really believes in people, like, you know, different directors, because now he's directing all of these movies. He believes in people, and I think when he believes in you, and he pushes it for sure. Okay,
man, wow. So I mean, like I said, you're doing your thing, man. You got all of these films that are coming out, man. Like I said, I'm honored to have worked with you. I know at any point you could have went to LA, but I don't know if that's the plan now, because Detroit is it's emerging, man. It's like a renaissance happening here. You got Dennis Reed. You got what's the other folks name?
You got Beezy. You got
Beezy. He came out. Yeah, he came out with some films. Beezy, where he directed my boy Tristan Fazikis, who stars
Tristan
in those.
Is my guy.
Funny guy. And you said the other one, the people who did the Mule. I can't remember.
Moolah Films,
right? Yeah. And they all seem to help each other and support each other, right? So there's this renaissance happening here. Is there any need for you? Because at one point you wanted to be in LA. What about now?
Now, you know, I don't feel the need to move because it's like when I literally after the pandemic, like my life literally changed. Like it's like everything just switched up. So from doing the music to this whole year I've been on different movie sets, like just knocking stuff out. So I'm way too busy to even want to move anymore. And it's like everybody's coming here. Like, you know what I'm saying? I literally just sat with Dennis and did auditions. We went through hundreds of people who flew here from, Ohio, Atlanta, Texas, Florida. They flying from all over the country to come here to audition, to film here.
Yeah.
And it's like
stars too. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like we're creating something here. Mm-hmm. So I don't want to be the person that moves out. I feel like I can get on here, mm-hmm. and I feel like I can bring more talent here, and even the kids that's coming up, like, you know what I'm saying, make it so that they have that opportunity and get on from here.
Being a part of something from the jump. I mean, it can be, I don't know, it can be more fulfilling than just jumping into a world that already is established, that exists, right?
Yeah, and I feel like Detroit, like you said, Detroit is on the rise for sure. I was like, we got a award show here now. Like, we got two of them, the Detroit Film Awards and the Detroit Choice Awards.
Yeah, and they get better and better every year,
They're
man.
Getting crazy. Crazy. I ain't been nominated yet, but you know what I'm saying, I got high hopes for the 2023 one.
Yeah. So, you will. I'm sure you're gonna be on that stage, man. Just give me a shout out. Just be like, hey, man, I just want to thank Dave because if I didn't make, if I
Project 8.
No, I want you to say making a film where it's just such poor quality helped me to appreciate the better quality films that I was a part of.
Listen. That film was impeccable, man. From the writing to you have a keen eye, man. I don't want you to sleep on yourself.
We ain't had no crew though. It was just us three.
And
you know what I'm saying?
And that's the craziest part. You are a one-man crew. You doing everything yourself. So that, man, shout out to you, man. Because you really that film. I love that film, man. I want you to know how much I appreciate that opportunity. Like, you really pull all of us together. You pulled me and Fatima together. Without you, I wouldn't even know Fatima.
Without you, I wouldn't know Jada Fade.
Well, shout out to her.
That's my homegirl. Shout out to her.
I love her. That's her, man. Shout out to her too. Like, it's so many things that you put in play. Like, you know what I'm saying? So shout out to you, man. Thank you for the opportunity.
Appreciate that, man.
I can't wait for you. Whatever you drop next, I can't wait for it.
This episode. So listen, man, you did your first album, rap album called hip hop album called Reflection, right? And what I loved about that album, it's been some time since I heard all of it straight through, but the accountability that was in there. Because see, you was coming fresh off a breakup.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, June about to go in. You know what I'm saying? But I heard it, and you talking about, just failed relationships, whether it be relationships with women that you've dated, whether it be a relationship between you and your boy. You know what I'm saying? And you're talking about your part in it. There was a high level of self-awareness while filming this album. And how cathartic of an experience was that while you were going through that tough breakup? Because it was tough.
Yeah. I was just like, we can always look at it like, oh, this person did me wrong. This person did me wrong. This person did me wrong. But like you said, at some point we have to have that accountability. It takes more than one person to ruin something. It's two people, it's both parties. And I wanted it to be more so about, my end, you know what I mean? And I wanted it to be about my thoughts and, looking back what I could have done differently, and looking back of what I, what I'm not necessarily proud of, and I wanted it to be something, and I even talked about my mom on there too. Like, I wanted it to be something based on love more so than, resentment and anger and stuff like that. I wanted to reflect on that, and you know what I mean? So yeah, that's where that came from.
Damn. Damn. And then what made you decide to say I'm gonna drop something else, man? Because see, on this album, you was showing out. My favorite song on the second album, which is Sincerely June, is Lil Trey. You remember I texted you about that?
Yeah,
Because the storytelling, I'm like, oh, you know, I'm an old cat. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, that's the type of stuff I like. But that album, it was like a big bowl of gumbo, you know, because it has something on there for everybody. You know what I'm saying? So many different styles. Yeah.
Like I was like, all right, so Reflection, I'm like, okay, they got this. And you know, people was like, we loved it. But I was like, man, I just wish it was more like of an upbeat feel to it. So I'm like, all right. So I was like, I started off and I had no intention.
You had some great features on there too.
Yeah. I didn't have any intention on making a whole nother album.
Yeah.
I sat down to write a song, and then that song turned into 2, and that turned into 5, and then
that wasn't even planned. And then I remember you said on the first album, correct me if I'm wrong, and I'm putting your business out there, that was about what, $7,000 in your own money.
Yeah, man.
Your own money. I'm talking about studio time, artwork, all of that stuff you paid for.
I paid for everything, and it was.
Y'all hear that? Listen, ain't that no excuse, man. This brother wanted to make an album, and he figured out how to do it. And the quality, it ain't. I'm not talking about some stuff you make on GarageBand, and no, you know, some people make some good stuff. I think Lupe Fiasco last album he made the beats on GarageBand, so I'm not knocking it, but it was quality.
Yeah,
the sound engineering was quality. You know what I'm saying?
I knew how to like rap a little bit because you know, I used to write poetry and stuff.
Yeah.
When I was growing up, so I knew how to rap a little bit. And, you know, we rapped in.
There was poetry on the first on Reflection, like I think the intro. Yeah, the intro was
but there was it was a lot that went into it, and I didn't know, and I learned so much off that album. So it was like, okay, engineering is that's a art in itself. And shout out to Culture. He engineered that whole first album.
Nice.
And the whole second album, really. He did both.
Wow.
And I had a DJ in that first album, Reflection, he did every single beat on that album.
Wow.
And then on the second album he did a few of those as well. But I had like probably 6 different producers on that second album because it was a different feel on every song. And yeah, I just wanted to make something that was like you could get something different, a different piece of me on every single song. Okay. And you know, and I wanted to paint pictures. So whether that was you know, the Lil Trey song or Just the Man, I wanted to like paint pictures and you know, tell a story per se.
You did.
So yeah.
So out of stand up, acting, and you know, music, which one would you pick if you had to choose one, right? Or can you?
If I absolutely had to choose one, it would be acting. Mm-hmm. But like I feel like I'm like a Nick Cannon almost. Mm-hmm. Like, and people be calling Nick Cannon corny, but I think Nick Cannon is dope. Is amazing because Nick Cannon, I was like, I think he's so dope because he don't really care about what nobody else thinks. No. Like he's like, look, I'm doing stuff that make me happy. He does stand up, he does music, he does producing beats, he does acting, he does all of these different. He wears multiple hats. Yeah. And I think, you know, between, you know, doing a little stand up, doing music, acting, all these things are like they're all different pieces of me. Yeah. So you know.
No, Nick, man, Marcus actually worked with him behind the scenes on some show that he was doing. He was a host, and you've hosted a lot of parties too. So that's one thing y'all got in common too, amongst many. But he was like, this dude was reading the teleprompter, and even when the people was getting the stuff in the teleprompter wrong, this was a live show, and Nick, like you couldn't tell, like he was almost correcting the teleprompter in real time or whatever. So he's been doing it for so many years. He's a natural born entertainer. So that's a great, I guess, person to aspire to be like.
I was always a Nick Cannon fan.
Minus, I mean, you probably ain't gonna have as many kids as Nick Cannon. Nah. Taking care of them. So
I was such a Nick Cannon fan. I remember I was younger. Nick Cannon had this website and he had like this fan mail stuff. I ain't gonna lie. I sent Nick Cannon an email. I was like, yeah, man, I'm a huge fan. Yeah. I was young, man. I was a young dumb kid, but yeah.
Oh, Love Don't Cost a Thing. That's my movie, man.
Absolutely.
That's my movie.
I've seen that movie, Christina Milian. Oh my god. Yeah. I seen that movie so many times, man.
Yeah. So okay. Let me ask you this: are you planning on dropping another album?
Not really. I mean, if it happens, it happens. But it's not like it's something that's in my head right now.
I got you. I
Like,
got you.
I might drop a couple songs randomly, but I just right now I'm like I got a plan for this acting thing right now. Like there's a couple other films that's about to drop, and then next year I got some other stuff about to drop. I don't know if I can really say too much about that, but it's some stuff that's about to drop next year, and I'm looking through that in the longevity phase. Like right now, I'm thinking about what's gonna happen in 2024. Like that's what I'm thinking about right now. So that's my focus, and yeah.
Wow. Okay. So man, let me ask you this. You've been through a lot. What drives you to be as successful as you are today and to be as active and productive as you are? Because you've been through so much. So there was so many opportunities to make excuses, to be down on yourself, and you haven't done that. So what drives you to do the things you do day in and day out?
Man, I just want to be different, and I knew like I wanted to be great, and I feel like if you have a passion or you have a gift or something that you're good at or something that you're aspiring to do, I feel like that is what's gonna make a way for you. Like you know what I'm saying? It's like they say your dreams will make a way for you, and I always wanted to be that one that whether it be the people in my neighborhood or my family or whatever or my friends could be like, oh, he followed what he wanted to do and he did it, and I could be that person. If you didn't have that person, be that person. And so I wanted to be that person for my little cousins, for the kids that's growing up in the city right now, for them, so they could aspire to be like, okay, he did it, so I know I could do it.
Being an example.
Yeah, so that was always my thing. Like I wanted to be that example. I wanted to show that this is possible. So, and it's like I can't stop what I'm doing. I can't give up, because then what does that say?
Wow. Wow. So that drives you. So what about like your auntie or great aunt who adopted you? You said it was two great aunts?
Yeah, so no, it was one only. I had all three of them were in the house together, right?
Okay, gotcha.
But only one of them adopted me.
Only one adopted you. So now let me ask you this: being an adult and knowing, like, because when you're a kid, you really don't know how huge that is for an auntie to take a child in that she didn't bear. Like, so being an adult, have you had conversations with her to just express like the gratitude for that? Like, where would I have been if it wasn't for you keeping us together, so to speak?
Not really. I mean, well, she passed away a couple years ago.
Oh, damn,
but
sorry to hear that.
Nah, I don't like we didn't have like the greatest relationship. So I mean, we never had that conversation or any like I never thought she actually knew me. You know what I mean? So we just never had a good relationship. So I don't know.
Wow. What do you think was the reason for that? Because she just didn't. As a child, did you feel like she didn't care to get to know who you really were, or
that? And I'm gonna say like, you have certain parents that believe that okay, you have clothes, you have a roof over your head, and you got food. I did my job. When it's like being a parent is so much more than that. Like there's you have to be involved in their life, and I don't think outside of those three things, she just wasn't really. And maybe because we came from two very different eras. Like she adopted us when she was 50 something years old, so we came from two very different worlds, and she wasn't very involved, and she really didn't like. I don't think she ever knew who I was. Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't think she ever knew me as a person outside of like, oh yeah, that's June. Like for the longest, she thought I was like wilding out here. Like she really thought I was like drinking, partying, smoking weed, all that. And like she would never like see how like I don't drink, I don't smoke. She would never know that.
Okay, I got you.
So
does June have resentment for anybody today?
Today, not really. I mean, I did have a little bit of resentment for her, like the one that adopted me. But at this point, nah, I can't hold anything on me. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm all about spreading love, and that's what I stand on now.
When the last time you talked to your biological mom?
3 days ago.
So y'all, so
Yeah,
now
like
she's been clean for a while, and
she ain't
okay,
clean no more.
but
But now, I mean, now we kind of talk like every blue moon. You know what I
I got you.
mean? Because I can't.
You don't want to carry that resentment. Yeah,
And it's not even a resentment now. We're past that now. Now it's more so of I've been trying to kind of help her. And so it's like, it's literally, I did a 180, like, you know what I'm saying? From resenting you to trying to help you.
to trying to help.
And,
Because that's what the Bible says. Honor thy mother and father, no matter
you
what. So
know,
that's dope. Yeah.
but you can't help people who don't want to be helped.
That's true too.
And, I just, she lives a totally separate life from me. So I can't get too involved in that life. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, I mean, because you could try to help somebody who's drowning, but you got to be careful not to drown yourself.
Absolutely.
In pursuit of helping them. Yeah. So I get you. There's a balance.
And I got so much to lose right now. It's like, I can't be caught up in that mess.
Yeah. Yeah. I got you. So what is one of your greatest fears, I would say?
Outside of like heights and drowning and stuff like that, I would say my greatest fear is not doing what I set out to do, not finishing things, and not like, I got nieces and a nephew, like, you know what I'm saying, like they watch what I do. You know what I'm saying? My niece was on my album, like that's first of all, that's my little, like,
you're heavily involved right in their lives, so
very much so. So, that my biggest fear is not showing them that the sky's the limit. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's what I would say.
Okay, so here's another question: does June plan on? And this for the ladies out there.
Let me drink this now.
Does June plan on having any kids one day? Does he plan on getting married? What are his thoughts on those things?
Yeah, so man, I always wanted to get married. And I would say, like, my fear is probably ending up with the wrong person. But I always wanted to get married and have a kid. I don't know about 5, 6 kids. I can't do that. But just having one kid and, being with a person that you genuinely love and who genuinely loves and supports you. Yeah. Man, that's my goal is always marriage, and to show people that, like, that black love, like you and Bridget.
Yeah. I appreciate that, man. Me and like I said, we were kids, man. I met Bridget when I was 19, but I think today people are rather indecisive because I talk to so many people and they have this, this long criteria, like list of boxes that need to be checked off. And at the end of the day, for me, I didn't get married because of Bridget. I got married because I value marriage. And that's something that I heard somebody say not too long ago. I forgot, I was on social media, and they said you don't want to necessarily get married solely because of the woman. Because I hear a lot of people say, oh, well, I'm not going to get married unless I find the perfect one or the right one. There's no perfect one. And also, it's actually unfair to that woman because you're placing unfair expectations on her to have to be this thing in order for it to work. So he said, don't necessarily become overly attached to the woman. Become attached to the idea of marriage and what it means. Absolutely. And that was something. And then you just pick somebody. You lock yourself with somebody and you try to make it work or whatever like that. So I think at that particular time, Bridget has so many incredible qualities about her, but a huge reason is, why we ended up staying together and why I proposed to her is because I just believed in what marriage could give me later down the line. I believed in that. And it was like, no matter whether I'm at odds with Bridget, no matter whether she's doing something to piss me off or whatever the case may be, or whether I'm doing something to piss her off, let's commit to the idea of marriage and go through the ups and downs, everything required to make it work. So many people talk about peace and I don't want to be in a relationship with somebody unless they give me peace. But people, they don't understand that it requires a lot in order to maintain peace. Like, in order for two countries not to go to war with each other, there has to be constant communication and working through problems, right? Because if two countries don't talk, right, and now I'm worried about what you planning and you worried about what I'm planning, all of a sudden we start bombing each other, right? But in order for peace to be maintained, there has to be constant communication. There has to be uncomfortable moments and you know, arguments and so on and so forth, and compromising and negotiating and all of these sorts of things. So that's the advice that I would give anybody who's looking to get married, is that if you're looking for the perfect person, you could be waiting for a while. You know, sometimes you just have
no perfect person.
There is no, because none of us are.
You know, I had to change my the way I view relationships. Like I've gone through my ups and downs in relationships, and I've dated a lot. And I had to ask myself, okay, instead of viewing it like, okay, how can this person make me happy? How can this person, you know, come into my life and show me love? I had to revert that and say, how can I show love? How can I
be of service?
You know what I'm saying? How can I make this person happy? How can I, you know, show love to this person? How can I do that instead of me? What can they do for me?
Oh yeah.
It's like, man, like, because happiness is not happiness if you're the only person happy.
Oh, facts.
So, and I've been reading relationship books and everything.
Oh, so you ready, ladies?
Listen,
I'm ready,
I'm getting ready because I know that I don't want to just have an amazing wife or nothing like that. I want to be an amazing husband. I want to be an amazing father. So there's a lot of internal work that I have to do, and that I'm working on too. But and I know I'm not gonna be perfect, like you just said, but I want to strive to do so much more, and I want to strive to be, you know, a great husband, a great father, you know, a great, you know, whether that's a boyfriend, fiance, whatever. I want to be that. So, you know, it starts there.
All right, man. This has been an incredible conversation, and it went to places. We started off, I didn't even know we was gonna start off like that, but I'm glad we did, man. So, Cutthroat, it premieres on the 25th of November, Bel Air Luxury Cinema.
Bel Air Luxury Theater, yeah.
Luxury Theater off of 8 Mile. If y'all want tickets, hit them up on this DM. I'm gonna be there. So,
hey man, it's gonna be good.
You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be there. So where can they find you on social media?
You can find me on social media at June 8 Shelton on everything. Whether it be Twitter, Instagram, Facebook is just June Shelton. I'll be on there.
That's what's up, man. I appreciate you, brother.
I always appreciate you, man.
Man, hey, listen.
I love these conversations, man. I do. I love it.
Conversations with TinBridge, man. So
real.
I want to thank you, man, and I want to just encourage you to keep inspiring people, man. You inspired me, so and I just love the fact that that's the thing that drives you, is just to be an example to people who need it, right?
Absolutely.
So we gonna do this again soon, man.
Hey, man, say less. Let me know. I'll be here. I'll be here anytime.
Conversations with TinBridge, y'all. Peace.